The first $1 million gate in boxing history. At Boyle's 30 Acres, Jersey City, New Jersey, July 2nd, 1921. Scheduled for 15 rounds for the heavyweight championship of the world. Champion Jack Dempsey, challenger George Carpentier. Dempsey the bigger of the two and the heavier. Dempsey 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing 188 pounds. Carpentier 5'11 and a half, weighing 172. The attendance was 90,000, and the receipts $1,789,238. The attendance was the greatest crowd ever assembled for a boxing match, and the largest crowd ever assembled in America for any sporting event. Jack Dempsey advancing on George Carpentier, or Carpentier, if you prefer the French pronunciation. This was the first World Championship bout ever broadcast over the radio. Major Andrew White was at the microphone. The referee is Harry Ertel. Remarkable close-up films of the Battle of the Century, pitting the savage fighting tiger Dempsey against the popular European heavyweight champion Carpentier in the greatest international prize fight since the Heenan-Sayers affair held way back in 1860. Jack Dempsey, the Manasseh Mauler, 26 years of age. George Carpentier, 27 years old. Carpentier managed by Francois Descamps. Dempsey managed by Jack Kearns. Carpentier is dead game. Very good boxer. A solid right-hand punch. Dempsey stalking him. Carpentier is the idol of France, known as the Orchid Man. Started fighting in 1907 and has campaigned in every division from flyweight up to heavyweight. That's the end of a good first round. In June of 1913, Carpentier won the European Heavyweight Championship, stopping the Britisher Bombardier Billy Wells in 4 rounds at Belgium. Fighting his first bout in America on October 12, 1920, he stopped battling Levinsky in 4 rounds to win the World Light Heavyweight Championship at Jersey City. This one of the classic fights of all time. Since he won the title, Dempsey successfully defended the title twice, knocking out Billy Miskey in 3 rounds at Benton Harbor, Michigan on September 6, 1920, and KOing Billy Brennan in 12 rounds in New York on December 14, 1920. Dempsey, the bigger, the stronger of the two, the heavier hitter. Carpentier, much faster, very clever boxer, and a good puncher. This is round 2 of the scheduled 15-rounder for the heavyweight championship of the world. Again, these wonderful close-ups of Carpentier and Dempsey.
Now, what's going on, family? I'm Scrapbook Boxing, Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff series. I just wanted to show you a touch of Jack Dempsey. This is a scrapbook of all Jack Dempsey, 1,000 one side, 2,000 front and back of his scrapbook. It's every single article, basically, that Jack Dempsey was a part of. And I just wanted to show you just a few pages. This is Jack Dempsey and George Carpentier as they're negotiating a contract for the biggest deal in 1921. George Carpentier was known as the Orchid Man. He was a light heavyweight champion. And Jack Dempsey would become the world heavyweight champion when he would knock out Jess Willard in 1919. I'm going to show you a page of that fight, and I'll also show you a page of Louis Angel Firpo with Jack Dempsey. Now, my dad was a huge Jack Dempsey collector. He collected everything of Jack Dempsey that you can think of, every last one of his boxing cards. every article that you can think of, all his full poses of magazines from the 1920s going all the way up. And this is Jack Dempsey and Jess Willard. These two men were in the ring. Toledo, Ohio, 1919. Just giving you just a scan of some of his pages in the book. So you have an idea. So if I ever decide to put these books up for auction, at least you have an idea what some of these books look like. I've been giving this some thought. Been at this for so long. And it was an honor putting these books together with my dad. Oh, we did this for over 47, 48 years now. Started this when I was a kid with him. Here you have Dempsey and Louis Angel Firpo. I gotta do this right. Have to put on the narration of Jack Dempsey and Louis Angel Firpo. It was a pleasure putting these books together with my dad.
Everyone is tense with excitement.
Jack Dempsey was a phenomenon in the 1920s.
Dempsey doesn't wait to start swinging. He's in there to make it short. Dempsey in the white trunks. Firpo in the black. Firpo's down. With a lightning fast right to the body. He takes a 3 count. Firpo hanging on. Dempsey's speed is too much for him. Firpo's down again. Up without a count. Dempsey knocks him down a 3rd time. Firpo takes a 1 count. 3 knockdowns by Dempsey in the first round, not even half over.
Could be 9 knockdowns in this fight. And once again, this book is over 1,000 pages of just Jack Dempsey.
Firpo down a 4th time. The crowd going wild. Looks like it's all over.
And this was an explosive fight. I have this heavyweight championship fight, my top 5 greatest heavyweight championship fights in boxing history.
Firpo like a wild bull, enraged by King. Dempsey's right cross drops Firpo again. The 6th time. Down again for the 7th time.
You see, Louis Angel Firpo was from Argentina. And he was the primo carnera of the 1920s, however he could fight.
Dempsey can't put him away for keeps.
You had a lot of big men at that time coming up between the late 20s and the 1930s. Ray Pelletier, Vittorio Campolo.
A terrific right by Firpo and Dempsey goes flying out of the ring.
Now this is Dempsey going out of the ring.
Almost forgets the count, but Dempsey comes back into the ring. He got back just in time, just before the count of 10. Jack can't take any chances.
Once again, tons and tons and tons of articles of Jack Dempsey in this book. I have this book protected. I just wanted to show you a few pages in case I decide to put these up for auction.
Heavyweight champion meets Bill Brennan of Chicago in a 15-round bout for the title. In round 1, Dempsey in the white trunks.
Now this is Jack Dempsey and Bill Brennan, 1920, New York's Madison Square Garden. Jack Dempsey had opened up the new Madison Square Garden. And this was the first heavyweight championship fight under the Walker Law.
Once again, just wanted to show you a few pages of Jack Dempsey
famous scrapbook.
Say he's the greatest heavyweight champion of all time.
This book is 1,000 pages.
He won the
Just
title
keep it in mind
when he knocked out the giant Jeff Willard. He slaughtered Willard inside
if I
the
decide to
ring,
let it go.
even though Jeff was 58 pounds heavier.
Jack Dempsey challenges heavyweight champion Jess Willard in one of the most savage confrontations since boxers began to wear gloves. Toledo, Ohio, 4th of July, 1919.
Let's take a listen to this fight.
Now you can see what a difference there is in their size. Though a great athlete, the bronze challenger seems almost puny next to the giant he's about to fight. They listen quietly, almost without interest, to a story they know by heart. Sweat beating shoulders.
This is the second greatest
crowd waits senseless.
boxing radio call on my list. First one is Joe Louis, Max Melling, 1938, New York Yankee Stadium. Glenn McCarthy.
One coming up. The timekeeper jerks his bell cord. Somehow it jams, and Willard doesn't hear the faint sound over the excited yelling. He pauses, looks around, puzzled, doubtful. Say, what's going on around here anyhow? Where's the bell? There it is. So the big fight begins, and Big Jess moves easily into action. The mahogany-hued Dempsey circles, moving in and out with fat-footed quickness. The champion wants to keep Jack at long range with his poking left jab, but Dempsey won't let him do it. He's never still for an instant, bobbing and weaving around. It looks like a test of speed against power, and Willard has no chance to get set against Dempsey's speed. At such a pace, there's a lot of missing and a lot of clinching. It's bound to be that way, but it's only a warm-up so far. Each is trying to figure out the other's defense, to open him up, nail him with a punch. The challenger crowds keeps on crowding. The instant he's in the open,
There are tons of posing shots of Jack Dempsey in these books. There's the articles with Jack Dempsey and Billy Misk.
Just hold whenever he can, but that's Jack's meat.
Fred Fulton.
Strong enough to tie him up for long. Trying to hit him is like trying to hit a sunbeam that moves away. Dempsey's hands in motion all the time.
Many articles when he was in Hollywood, articles of his restaurant, but tons of articles of his fights.
When you're going away, you can't do much damage yourself. A champion is supposed to make the fight, but try as he will, it's far beyond Big Jess. And he hasn't been hurt yet. For all the charging, for all the blows, the tall Pang has suffered no injury. He's clever, knows how to handle himself, and in spite of his great size, he moves around quickly and gracefully. No, the little man won't get him. They maneuver around the side of the ring. Now watch. There's that big left, and Willard's down. Then, painfully, he drags his racked body to a half erect position. After the most murderous beating a man ever took in the ring, and there's the bell. But no one hears it. Dempsey turns away. He seems doubtful, puzzled. Turns and others rush jubilantly into the rope square. It's all over. The quickest heavyweight knockout on record. Jack hurries out of the ring to avoid the crowd. But the timekeeper and referee out at the court are yelling that it's not over. His arms and legs are heavy with exhaustion. Salt sweat burns the gashes Dempsey's fists have opened. When Jack bores in and hits him, drives him around the ring, he can't muster enough strength for a dangerous punch in return. The seconds and minutes are ticking by faster and faster. There isn't much time left in the round. If he's to get his KO before the bell rings, he'll have to do it in a hurry. But Willard's only thought is to protect himself, and weak and tired as he is, it's no sense to get him set for the finishing punch, even when he's driven helplessly back against the rope. He wobbles about and flinches, does his best to save himself from his relentless foe. There are only a few seconds remaining now. No chance for a finishing blow. It's too late. His left hook still thunders. In the clinches, Willard is no longer strong.
Now this is the third round of this fight.
Still, the clinches are the only.
And this is probably the most brutal round in all of boxing.
Back in just a moment. Round three, and at the start of the third, there's no easing up in Dempsey's attack. His left hook still thunders. In the clinches, Willard is no longer strong enough to make even a pretense of blocking the uppercuts that shake and hurt him. Still, the clinches are the only sanctuary left him. Out in mid-ring, he's helpless. He's lost all coordination between brain and hand. His efforts are pitiful. He was big and good-looking and smiling when he came into the ring. Now he's a lurching, tottering wreck of a man. Dempsey beats at him. in the body, shifting his attack for a moment from that pitiful face. A new champion being born here, born in the torrid heat among the yells of 70,000 spectators, born in blood and effort and pain. It's bad for Willard, taking the hammer blows of the ring's greatest puncher, but it's no picnic for the man who's winning either. His lungs strain, his heart beats in his throat, his arms are like lead, but still he carries on that deadly attack. He pours leather at the giant who should have gone down long ago, who would have gone down, but for the heart of a lion and the endurance of a buffalo. Even the spectators are beginning to flinch at the sight. This is no fight, it's a slaughter, a massacre. Big Jess has no more chance than a babe in arms. Look at the heavyweight champion of the world. His face is pounded almost to a pulp. His tired, dazed eyes peer through a mask of blood. It's dripped down over his body, stained his trunk, spotted his legs. Even Dempsey's smeared with the sanguinary fluid. Each time the mauler goes into the clinch, he gets more of it. Why doesn't the referee stop it? Why? But Ollie Picord comes from the old school. There's only one way for a champion to finish, they say, and that's on his back. But the bloody, half-blinded Willard won't go down. Not even when the tiring Dempsey's blows stagger and hurt him more and more. And again the seconds are running out. The round's nearly over. And the impossible has happened again. Big Jess has lasted through this another murderous round with this roaring Dempsey.
Left hooks that Jess Willard is being hit with is incredible.
Now coming up for round 4, but Willard can't come out for the 4th round. His nose and cheekbone are fractured, ribs broken, half a dozen teeth knocked out, and he's hardly strength enough to rise and shake hands with his conqueror. In this most unusual of fights, an idol has been born. Dempsey the Mauler. Unusual, every second of it.
All right, thanks for watching. This is Scrapbook Boxing Museum of the Forgotten Fisticuff series. All great fights and all great fighters will never be forgotten on my channel. Just wanted to show you a few pages of this massive book of Jack Dempsey. 1,000 pages, 2,000 front and back. Every article that I can think of is in this book. All right, thanks for watching. Peace.